games prior. Do not expect much difference in these bans here. It is actually Draven hops up to the first phase instead of the second phase. They do not want to give Shaoye one of his comfort picks there in the bot lane, but the Rumble has been left open and is locked in instantaneously.
So what is the answer here for AL? Because when you know when you ban out the Draven, that Rumble is coming. So what have you prepared on the side from Flandre? Look, he's been cooking. Galio was the answer at Worlds this last year, and looks like that's going to be the case. Now, with Nocturne hovered, I think AL should be looking to have, or LGD should be looking to grab away the Orianna. I think if AL wanted to protect this, they should have just gone with Orianna Nocturne immediately and then stolen the Galio.
That's their plan, maybe. I don't like. Maybe they're just like messing with them. Like maybe they're looking to see if they're willing to take that Orianna because Shanks has maybe a good matchup and you flex that Galio or something. I'd be very curious what's going on in the conversation pit of AL, but it will be the Ahri locked in by LGD, so maybe falling into the trap a little bit here.
All right. Ahri and Viego, a very potent combo if they can get that damage, and it seems like in response, AL probably going to be picking up their Orianna here, saying from the side of LGD, just go for the 2v2, try to find something on level 6. Maybe with this charm, we can try to force out Orianna from the laning phase, get some early roams coming out from XQW, because when we saw game 1, some of the best parts of their game was the fact that we actually saw XQW slam Shanks and move into bottom lane. We're getting, instead of the Orianna, LeBlanc.
Could it be LeBlanc top lane? I really... It could.
It could be
against the Rumble. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I do really like the response here from LGD though. Go with their own 2v2 if they know that AL is trying to set up some kind of 2v2 matchup there. Go with another classic in the Ahri Viego and look for that reset city ticket, and that can provide them that early game prowess or even the late game difference maker in the team fights with those resets. But AL have a lot of choices in front of them right now, and they have a lot of options. As we go into the second phase, it was the Jhin ban towards Shaoye, so Shaoye will continue getting his champ pool pinched, and the Poppy ban by LGD.
Trying to look at 80 care, some marksmen that we could be looking at towards the bottom lane, and I mean, maybe we get a Twitch angle. We've been seeing a lot. I think way too many Twitches. I mean, even one Twitch pick is already too much for the game. But if they wanted side lane pressure and someone that could be a little bit safer versus like a LeBlanc, a Nocturne, and a Galio, I think Tristana here for LGD could be particularly something that they look towards. Getting rid of the Renata means that a lot of support matchups start to open up. And again, Nautilus not picked. Rel and Braum are gone. Leona, I think, is something that starts to rise in priority, especially for engaged support.
Interesting. I guess the follow-through damage, the ace in the hole. But
yeah, they just don't want to deal against like a strong laning AD, I think, is the big idea here.
Then now you get even a better dive tool, right? And I feel like even without the Orianna in this setup, you still have a lot of safety for Tarzan with the Galio heroic entrance there, and a lot of follow-through damage with the LeBlanc and Kaisa kind of hopping in with you.
If they're going to play dive, Zaya's great for that. I just think you get outranged by someone like Kaisa if she goes for the AP build that we've been kind of seeing for however long this champion has been around. No Rakan means you don't get the Lover's Toe, but yeah, Leona here, I think great for someone playing into Little Blanc, and this 2v2 is very, very potent. I wonder what AL are going to be responding. Interesting enough, by the way, Ledin, I know we haven't kind of touched on it, but this has been 3 games in a row of R5 support here for Kael.
That's what is wild to me. A guy that has been playing a lot of utility for the team since he came in a year ago from Live Sandbox. A guy that has played around with the meta a lot and played a lot of like independent picks, it feels like. He is the one that's getting a lot of the resources in the draft to make sure that they can have somebody to pair up alongside Tarzan and Flandre later on. And I think that has been an undersung key point to their compositions so far. The Rakan, things like that.
It has also just been very weird when you think about the draft priority just around LPL in general. It's been take your bot lane pair on 2-3. Maybe you kind of move that over onto 4-5 if you have a very strong blind for one of your solo laners or you're looking for a jungler. But that typically only happens in game 2 and game 3 as we get further into the series. So interesting to see Kael with the support counter pick. He gets Alistar, which is pretty good here, especially when we're talking about someone who can be a great frontliner against Leona, also being able to push the Viego away, something that we'll have to keep track of as here for AL, they are coming in with some pretty big damage coming in from the LeBlanc and this Nocturne.
It is the 2024 LDL champion, at least a couple of them, Climber and XQW, from LGD versus the reigning 2024 Demacia Cup champions in anyone's legend. A rookie roster. 4 rookies for the first time in the LPL on the side of LGD. A roster that was so close to being in that upper pack last year in LPL, bringing in reinforcements like Flandre and Tarzan that have made a massive difference in how this team plays. Can LGD have another strong early game, and can they turn that into a victory? The only questions remain is if they can do that, or if anyone's legend goes to a 3-0 start in this best of 5 and a 1-0 start in Group A.
I would be very sad if LGD go out 3-0, because it's, again, it's a 3-0 that it doesn't feel like a true one, right? Like, I feel like
But it puts you that much closer to the edge, I'll tell you that.
True. That is very true. Shanks getting an early ward. Great job on using the distortion here to try to track this. Oh, YCX doesn't see it.
Oh, no.
Oh,
that actually can play a huge role. If you play around something you don't think has vision there, it can absolutely throw you off, especially against somebody like Tarzan here, who's going to be looking to be pretty aggressive now that they know that bot side is warded. Climber was playing around this top side of the map.
What are we?
Oh,
no.
no.
We trying to do for like a weird level 1. We're going for a late invade onto Viego. I think that's perfectly fine. We're also swapping our bottom lanes. Both of them going towards the top side of the map. Shaoye and YCX are in the area, and Tarzan's nowhere near his camp. Okay, he's going to go start Raptors. One thing that I will kind of credit towards AL, at least in this series so far, is they've been very diligent on getting vision in the enemy jungle. They want to make sure that they're tracking Climber in every single one of these games, and whether that's from early invades like we just saw, or just being able to get cheeky with it in some of the earlier parts of the series, they've been doing a very good job of at least trying to cut the legs out from underneath LGD's carry jungle.
So is this just the new bot lane? Is top lane the new bot lane now? Is that what we're deciding in LPL?
Bot lane is wherever you want it to be. It can be mid lane if they really wanted it to be, but remember, bot lane has some, or mid lane has, is a bit of a shorter lane, and so typically not that fun to play 2v2, but we've been seeing solo lanes. They were trying to avoid this matchup, although I don't really see why. I think maybe trying to allow for Sasi to play the game, but even in a lane swap, Rumble doesn't kind of operate in that same manner, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just going to be, we're going to be seeing a reset and then play for level 5 advantages for some of our teams here.
Also, Flandre cooking for a 3rd game in a row. Had the tank Jace into the Ambessa, now into the Galio against a Rumble comp, or against a Rumble matchup. We'll see how that continues to go, but man, his impact around team fights is going to be felt. So until that time comes, we'll keep an eye out, but we have to look at the difference between the approaches that Climber and Tarzan are going to have this game. This was our spotlight matchup. This was the most important thing, I feel like, on the map in all these games. And Climber, having that early aggression, could look for things on the Viego. Tarzan really just waiting for that level 6 to get the paranoia to have an effect.
Climber will have a lot more early agency when you look at his lanes. I think when you look at AL, however, Tarzan, he can kind of mitigate that damage, that straight-up damage loss you would get from playing against a Rumble or an Ahri by having so much setup on his side of the map. You have a Galio that you can play with. Kael, if he ever decides to leave the laning phase here, he's going to be able to also link up with his jungle. And the amount of setup that a Nocturne can require is going to be really, really important. And like you were saying, it's all about getting that level 6. Tarzan is obviously a great jungler at being able to kind of funnel resources into himself. And it's all going to be about single camp advantages. Where can you sneak a camp here? Where can you kind of leech experience? They did increase the experience acquisition range to make it easier for people who are getting lane swapped on and the like. You're playing solo lane versus 2 players. So you can kind of sit around mid, sit around some of these lanes and leech experience to get level 6 a little bit faster.
Those little things, the nuances, can actually mean so much as well. We will see that traditionally in this series against these two, we've literally contested like every objective on spawn for the most part. I think dragons have been the only ones that have been lagging behind a little bit. We will be about 40 seconds from that first dragon, a little bit further off from the first grubs. But that is where you have to start looking at the end of pathing for both these two junglers, and the fact that Tarzan is not going to have a lot of his options this early into the game.
All right, finishing off the Krugs here. He's level 5, maybe trying to just sit here and pretend like he's helping, mostly just to prevent a dive here from Climber with YCX. And we have grub spawning in a minute. I want to see if this is going to be LGD's timer to move off and potentially go towards the bottom side of the map. We do have Climber finishing his side of the jungle, and I mean, we're going to have XQW being able to move out after mid. Level 6s coming in for mid lanes is going to be very important. I'm looking at Ahri. Once they have this ultimate, the Spirit Rush unlocks so much movement across the map.
Yeah, I mean, the reset city is where they're looking to go. I don't know why I love that so much, but it works. You know, it's the comp that works. And I will say, I'm a little surprised not to see have seen any real aggressive moves from Climber and XQW already. I mean, I know obviously you were talking about the Spirit Rush. It's really an unlocking factor for the Ahri. But I was hoping to see a little bit more, I guess, initiation from Climber and XQW in the earlier parts of the game.
He's also down CS in this mid lane right now.
Which is crazy.
So Shanks showing off a bit in the laning phase. Looks like we're going for some early skirmishes.
Okay. Kael goes straight into XQW. Whoa. Shanks finds him too. Heroic entrance. They might actually find the angle. You got the Winds of War. Thought Flandre was going to be able to get it. He doesn't have the burn now. Flandre trying to get out of there as well. YCX a little bit below. Oh my God. Tarzan with the fade away shadows gets the kill and first blood for anyone's legend.
XQW walks a bit too far. Tarzan throws the skill check and says, "Are you paying attention? Do you know that my Q has this much range?" Grabs themselves the first blood. That'll be an early feat of strength here, and maybe a second one as YCX.
Oh no. All right. I don't know, man. This is feeling real bad real early, but you still have the reset comp. You still have things going for you, but a couple bad decisions early from LGD is just going to lead to a full-on lead for anyone's legend.
Such an investment coming in from LGD. I mean, Climber looked for the flash stun engage onto Kael, which is questionable at best. And then an early grubs take here. Well, Sasa's getting plates for himself. 3 plates. We haven't seen him actually really be a big kind of contributor to a lot of these games. The Cassandra is probably the most important. And I want everybody to watch Climber here. Looks for the stun. Does not land it onto Kael. It forces so many summoner spells, so many ults out from this team. And it's eventually where they find this kill onto XQW. Otherwise, this should have just been them all walking away from each other.
Imagine Flash Q. Oh my God. Like, in my years of commentating, I've never seen that. I love the angle, and already off to the races is Tarzan and Shanks. Probably what will be, at least to me now that we've seen the Demacia Cup, one of the strongest mid-jungle duos in the league.
That's your jungle goat right there, man. Put some respect on them. Show some love, especially for.
But I never thought the cohesive synergy was gonna be Shanks, right? Like, I mean, we've seen Tarzan with Scout. We've seen Tarzan with all these wonderful, like, Shaoye. We've seen literally Tarzan with some of the biggest names in the LPL, but the one that just feels like it's clicking right away is him and Shanks.
Don't remind me about that roster, please. The Shaoye roster of Tarzan. That one painful. There we go. We're getting a kill.
This is also Sasa. Painful, Alk. I'm sorry.
It just feels like a victory lap here, Lennon. AL are just making it look easy across the map. Shanks has found his groove in this series. Game 1, I think for all of AL, was a bit of a sleeper. But this time around, they are just ready to go. They are not taking anything from LGD without making them pay for it.
Actually, so difficult to watch at this point. I mean, I know it's only 3-0. It's only 9 minutes in. But the amount of oppression that AL is exuding onto the map right now is insane. Shaoye will burn his Featherstorm, try to get the Blade Caller combo, but the flash from Hope is just too damn clean. And that'll be kills across the map. The only person that has not died on LGD, Climber.
Lennon, if I thought that a 9.5-minute Sundered Sky was good enough, or really good here for Tarzan, I'll take an 8:45 experimental hex play. This is a huge boon for them. Now they're going to be able to have ultimates on cooldown. We get to take a look at this replay.
Oh,
this was the bot lane that we were so excited for, right? Every game, it's been these two finding a win for YCX and Shaoye, but it comes down to game 3 everywhere, every lane collapsing here for LGD, and AL just look like they're unstoppable in this series.
This is gonna be something completely random. I hope this isn't like a breakdown of confidence in their first series, right? I hope it's not like a breakdown of communication in their first series. Those 2 losses are hard, especially when you're new players and you're winning against anyone's legend for 20 minutes into the game and then you lose them. That can be so destroying of the mental. But this whole game has just been missed skill shots, missed positioning, and it's only 10 minutes in.
Happens. I don't know what to say, man. Like, this game's hard to watch. I was the one that was big upping on LGD potentially being able to make a splash. Look, I said they can win LPL. I didn't say which split, okay? And they can still get out of this group.
They can still get out, even with one loss.
It takes a win versus WE and a massive upset versus TES. And that's part of the format, right? Like, all of your so-called scheduled wins have to be that. Otherwise, you throw your entire season in jeopardy.
Yeah. Dude, Shanks is just taking a 1v2 right now in the mid lane.
He does not care. He's like, I'm literally not afraid of you guys right now. I'm playing LeBlanc. I will one-shot your AD carry and this Viego later on into the game.
TP
We're
bot
gonna
lane.
teleport.
Oh, no.
Good luck bot lane, guys.
Turn out the lights and initiate the horror movie. LGD, where's your popcorn? You're going down. XQW is TP'd in as well. That's going to be a big equalizer. Doesn't matter. Flandre bites the bullet for his team, and this is chaos. Shanks is taking the turret now as well.
Wait, guys.
What is happening, guys? Guys, chill. Okay, they're no longer chilling. There's just kills going everywhere. A double kill comes out for Sasi, but hope is reigning supreme. 4-0-2 on the Kaisa.
He's able to clean up on this fight. It's a grub take here for Climber on the opposite side, but this turret is pretty close to going down. It's probably not going to go down on this wave, especially with fortification, but 3 grubs,
you don't think so?
No one's in the area. Wait, okay, I was going to say maybe if more people, but Shaoye and YCX, they've deployed into the mid lane. Hope should feel comfortable taking this.
Oh, it's close. He doesn't know where
that
XQW is.
Man.
Yeah, he's a little scared. Not going to be able to pull the trigger on that one just yet. He's actually sticking around, though. And this might end up being his death, but XQW going to be spotted on the... He took the control ward away.
Happens.
So
Can we just talk about, by the way, it's like 11 minutes and we already have all 5 people here in bottom lane. Like, Shanks is on his way. Galio's now come through. The Avenger beams are back, ladies and gentlemen. You thought that TP teleport plays around bot lane turrets were gone? Well, hey, the change is there. There's the feats of strength here coming in for AL as we get another fight.
Both times, LGD has won the feats of strength. They've lost. Maybe that's just foreshadowing because now you got resets coming out for LGD. Shanks going to try to get away from Climber. Climber's going to chase him down, trying to get his soul, and that'll be a couple more kills going LGD's way.
All right, they're sacrificed 2 members just to get these feats of strength. Let's see what AL are able to do with this increased bonus combat ability. As LGD now, I mean, you're in a kind of a weird spot where you have to keep fighting. You have decent 1 items here for your jungle and mid. You're having Sasi, who's going to be close to hitting 2 items here. I think you're probably just waiting for Shaoye to get back into this game, but it's tough. Hasn't even finished that first item. Going to be having the Yuntal Wild Arrows, it appears, as well. So still a bit of scaling before you have all of that crit chance that's built into the kit.
Man, it is hard. I will say my biggest happiness about this, not happy that LGD is struggling to some extent, but man, AL just know how to have fun in draft, and I don't know, it just feels like a different team. Like, it is not a team that I'm immediately like, they can win Worlds, they can win LPL, but the fact that they're already showing us this level of ingenuity and stuff in the draft is so cool to watch. Like, this was supposed to be a Nocturne Orianna combo, but it turned out to be this weird mashup of like different pieces with a LeBlanc mid, and it's just working.
And that's even without it being like actually fearless, right? Like Orianna was not a champion that was picked previously, so it's not like they're just having to pick Nocturne and then substitute a different mid laner. It is coming off of the creativity, and that was something that they did note in their post-game interview after winning Demacia Cup coming in from Tabe. Mostly it was focused around Flandre, but I would expect from someone like Tabe, who is obviously wanting to push the boundaries a little bit in this game, led BLG to some victories as well when they were kind of becoming the it factor, the it team here in the LPL.
It's been a wonderful union, I guess, between Tabe and AL. I know he was very, very happy to get Tarzan and Flandre on his team to try to bolster them a little bit. LGD still trying to keep their neck in the game here. Only about 1,000 gold down. Feels a lot more oppressive than that, but they are still this Viego RE comp, and they can still have a lot of strength in these fights if they catch out the right member. Dragon does get started up preemptively, dragged out, and continued right now. Paranoia is available. Tarzan maybe looking for it, but no, they get engaged on first. Now Heroic Entrance comes in. Kael is there. TP's coming in. That's going to be XQW on the back end of the fight, but they've already lost YCX. And that's a lot of damage from Hope, who is stacking. Oh, Flandre! Insta-taunt into the Paranoia. Shanks getting blasted, though. That was a little bit preemptive and a little bit overzealous. AL pay the price to a double kill for Climber.
Flandre just finds the flash, but no one is in range to do anything about it. So Climber gets himself 2 separate resets, and now Herald is spawning. LGD are in a great spot to be able to contest for this. Maybe a bit afraid that their 2 carries are in not great positions. Flash from Shaoye.
Shaoye! That's on the highlight reel. That's a poster if this was basketball. My God.
All right, maybe I'm starting to feel it, Lennon. I think feats of strength are actually just bait.
Dude, they really are. I feel like the win rate I was told where the feats of strength have like 75% win rate is just, you know, I don't know. That's not what I'm seeing in pro play.
My only caveat to this is that that has been the case in every series except this one.
Exactly.
Very rarely has the team who's gotten the feats of strength and been able to take Otacon have kind of lost the game, but man, this is tough. Like, the first part of this fight is so great. Even if you engage onto this team, there's just a Galio ult. You always have to be thinking of Galio ult, Nocturne, where are these champions? Can they get to us quickly enough? And it's right here, Flandre. No one is here. Hope is in Super Narnia. Shanks cannot jump into this team. It was a great charm coming out from XQW. And look at all these feathers. Hope you just walk on forward, not thinking this would land. And now in the picture-in-picture, you can kind of see LGD are walking into this topside jungle. They want to try to grab this Rift Herald and open up the map.
Kael did burn his flash there. Flandre looking for another taunt, but doesn't find the angle that time. And just a couple little miscommunicated. Like, if Flandre doesn't go for that flash taunt, like, everything's fine there for AL. But the fact that LGD now are still in the fight in a dead even game, 17:45 in. We have Otacon coming in 2 minutes. We have all the objectives up on the map. There's a lot to be contested.
Despite that last fight, my eyes are still on Hope. 2-item Kaisa right now, the most fed member in the entire game, versus this Viego. With the Rage Blade, I have to expect you're looking for a win.
Okay, they actually caught him out. Yeah, that's really tough. The Paranoia just splits the team, and Tarzan's just going for a 1v1 spree against XQW. He got him early under tower, and now he'll get him in the fight. Another double kill, but this time it's anyone's legend, Shanks, that comes up with it, and Rift Herald will be started by them.
They've started this objective a few times. It's finally going to be going down in the hands of AL, and great job from them from, like you said, splitting up the fight. You have Tarzan pulling the attention of someone like XQW away. Sasa in a bad spot, gets caught out, gets finished by AL, and that's just more gold going into these carries, like Tarzan, like Hope. As we take this replay, look at where everyone is. This starts with a bunch of ultimates just missing, right? Galio lands onto no one. There's a Rumble ult that kind of roasts my family, I think. XQW just, there's no team play. He doesn't have ultimate, no flash. How can play?
There's literally nothing you can do there. Everybody's so far away. There's no saving grace for you, even with any tools available. Dragon, he's up on the other side. And started up by LGD. See if AL want to come contest this one. They will not have their heroic entrance, but they do have the paranoia.
This is second dragon of the game at 19 and a half minutes.
Yeah, this is like one of the later dragons of the season so far.
And we have the Otacon spotting in the bottom side of the map here, which, again, much easier for, actually, I think both sides of these teams because the Tri-Brush is situated in this manner. Top side, it's just completely unfair for blue side. You have all these walls you have to kind of walk through. Red side, open up to both sides, and we've kind of seen both teams, specifically more so LGD, play around the vision that comes along with these walls. So I'm interested to see whether or not LGD can kind of find a play, because as is, this game is very much getting out of hand very quickly for them, and we're not seeing much in the way of proactivity from this team.
We're going to be hitting those 2 item spikes as well. A majority of members already have it for anyone's legend, even though they're not that far ahead. They're only about 2,000 gold up over LGD. But you see, we're getting the tension building here. LGD realize Otacon is down there. They have really been willing to start that fight up. And AL want to be here to contest them, actually looking to take their own fight. Hope going to be coming away from mid, does a lot of damage to the healthier members. You see how much he does there just in a couple hits. AL going to move down to the Otacon potentially, but this is a dicey situation as XQW pops his Spirit Rush and misses the charm.
Control of this entrance of the river is so important. And you can see AL, they want vision. XQW's looking for it, wants to find Kael, but that's the unstoppable.
But what do you want? XQW!
Look
you
away.
had no exit, you had no escape, and you just tossed your life away. Flandre is just going to tank up a storm here, and LGD have lost multiple members now, but they got the resets for Climber. Now they're trying to get Kael. They do get him. Climber's going for more. Reset City, ticket for LGD. We said it was coming. He's got the charge. No, he's got the escape. No way. He makes it out with sub 100 health after using the Rift Herald to escape.
He said, "Hacker, hold my beer, man." He was definitely taking notes there. 100 HP there. It's not much in terms of the overall, as it is a massive fight win yet again here for LGD. AL just overextend after a little bit. They give resets after resets here for Climber. 2 items for this Viego, the Sterix and the Sundered Sky. He is the big carry. I said we were pitting him versus Hope. This time around, he needs to be able to kind of lean on his team to get those resets.
5-0-1 for one of the hyped up rookies from the LDL championship roster. I will always be questioning what XQW saw right there, but it was still a pretty handsy fight there from Climber.
And the fight is just split. I mean, all of the damage going on to YCX. We're finding another one. Kael's dead. Oh,
they actually got him. Paranoia's going to be popped. They take the engage onto Tarzan. Nobody can really join. Hope goes for the side lane kill. They actually already got at YCX, though. And he takes the Scuttle Crab. Oh, my God. Climber just can't win a smite fight to save his life here. But he is going to be the saving grace of LGD if there is going to be one.
The support's getting caught here. I mean, Lennon, Kael, this time around, he's been having an okay series, but it's these small moments where he gets caught out that are buying time for LGD and are slowing down this third game for anyone's legends. It's going to be the Otacon start here as LGD are coming back out onto the map. XQW is on his way. You also have Climber, level 13 and ready to fight.
They saw Flandre use his taunt. They know he doesn't have it anymore. Otacon goes down about half health. LGD move around. This buys a lot of time for AL, who do have push prio in mid lane now that LGD have repositioned around bot. You have Paranoia. You have Heroic Entrance. If you want to pull the trigger for AL, you can.
I think the reason why this game has looked so close, Lennon, is part of the reason we gave AL so many props.
That's
never mind.
Oh, insta-engaged by XQW, but it's immediately peeled off of by Flandre, who's going to go for a taunt. They got the Paranoia on the backline. Tarzan overextends, though. He goes over to YCX. That is not the person you want to be fighting, and that is a massive reset. Though YCX will not have any further follow-up after that. LGD can now potentially look for these objectives. You have a Dragon coming up in 30, and Otacon still up on the table.
AL's claim to fame this season has been really great map play, finding creative fights in terms of their team fights and how they enter This time around, we're not getting any of that. We're getting Flandre flashing forward. We're not getting that cohesion that we were expecting from AL. And that gold lead that we had before is just gone. LGD are back in this game. You're looking at the items, 2 items here for XQW, 2 items here for Shaoye, and we're still looking at Climber to be able to really bring this game over the hurdle and get potentially the first of what could be many wins here in this series against anyone's legend.
I just have this feeling. I don't know. Hope sitting at 5-1, 3 items in the game, most gold, most damage. Absolutely shreds these higher health bar enemies like YCX and Climber. It's just feeling like a Hope game here. We'll see if LGD can shut him down, but he will be a big target for them to focus on in these next fights. Dragon is up, would be a second dragon for either side. Besides that, both Baron and Atakan are up.
Every time I think about the Kaisa champion, I am just imagining the TSAL series, whereas that one game, Jackie Love pentakill, the champion's just strong, but we'll see what he's able to do, what Hope is able to do, especially as an AD carry that after the Worlds 2022 run with JDG kind of fell off the map, right? It was a couple years on that WE roster with some middling results.
Which that WE roster went undefeated for like however many games they had that first split.
It was 4 weeks, but I remember that because they went undefeated, and then they had the Road to Asia games where they also won. But then after that, it was just like the schedule was too
destroyed.
They got destroyed, and that was part of it. They used all of their like momentum in Road to Asia games, and then nothing else after that, which is really unfortunate, especially for Hope. He was one of my players I was super excited to see. Is that JDG run in 2022 was so exciting for me.
And it's so cool because Hope was one of the big names, you know, being picked up by EDG before he went to that JDG run. And even through then, right, and through the JDG run, he always talked about being a shot-calling ADC, be somebody with a little bit more agency in the comms. Now, it's been years since those words were uttered, and right now it's looking like just a hands diff for him. We'll see if he can actually make the difference. Their Solar Flare going to be popped, so no more light in the darkness for LGD, and Paranoia ready to go.
We're doing the nice old mid lane dance. The Nayram here making an appearance in the LPL, as it's really hard for AL to find much purchase on the map because they haven't been able to take down this mid-tier one. They've been really focused on pushing mid-tier 1, moving into the side of the map, but with this turret, it is very easy for LGD to get mid-priority and do what they want to do with Vision. So one singular ward not swept out here by AL means that they're going to trade Atakan for Baron. We saw this trade with Weibo Gaming, and they ended up winning the game. I don't think they're in the same position from LGD.
I don't think so either. I don't know. There's a TP coming up to top lane. That'll be Flandre going up there. You also have Shanks and Kael here. Is this going to be a flipperino for the game? Baron going down low, but you got that GA set for AL. They're looking for the Paranoia engage. They got the big Featherstorm there in the middle of it all. LGD actually giving a good fight. Hope finds backline. Hope is by himself.
He's gone.
He gets his GA popped. They are getting one body, maybe a couple more, but LGD will clean house and pick up a little bit of extra gold.
I normally would be okay with that kind of trade coming in from AL, but they also use summoner spells. The whole point of having the Atakan buff is that you are at a massive advantage and you are trying to force out summoner spells from the opponent. There is no flash engage coming in from Kael for the next 5 minutes, and they traded it for Shaoye's ultimate and the flash and barrier. I want to see AL properly punish this. Tarzan didn't even fly in on that last fight. He just activated the ultimate to be more disorienting, but didn't actually help the rest of his team.
Hope just flew to the back line.
Yeah, and Hope doesn't have cleanse anymore. He doesn't have any cleanse, right? So if YCX finds an engage, if XQW lands a charm, that could be LGD opening up this game. Now they have the Baron. They lost very little in terms of that fight, and they can continue to push around the map in this state.
That's the biggest thing that the Baron buff affords you. You just get instant map pressure in the lanes, and you see it paying dividends here. A 1.5K lead almost for LGD. And this is the most even this series has been in a game. Usually this is the time or a little bit before where AL finds some miracle team fights and turns it completely around. But LGD, they're giving us a big stand here to try to keep away from a 3-0 in their first series of 2025.
So Hope has been on 3 items, but 3-item core coming in for LGD is going to be happening within the next 2 minutes. You already have Climber, who's getting closer to finishing off his 3rd item. You also have XQW with the Void Crystal. Shaoye is getting close to having an LDR, so he'll be able to finally deal damage against Kael and Flandre. This is a dangerous spot to be as AL. You still have that scaling. You still have a lot of damage because of someone like Shanks with 3 items plus tier 3 boots.
See if they can contest this one. The tier 2 turret up here. Paranoia going to be popped. He goes straight in. Heroic Entrance goes in. Featherstorm going to be popped. Blade Collar coming soon after. Hope looks for him. Hope looks for Shaoye, and he guts him. As now you got the fight from LGD. Resets coming out from Climber. That is massive. XQW will finally fall to Shanks. Now it's a little bit of a fight back. Climber still resetting, still kicking, and this is what they drafted the Viego for. AL, they're running for the hills, and they'll get a couple bodies out, but Climber is doing work.
Maybe there's a reason we see the Nocturne paired with Orianna. This LeBlanc combo is just not working for AL. And Hope flies in on the Killer Instinct, finds one member, but immediately has to use the flash and still ends up going down. AL are not creatively kind of solving the problem of how we kill all of these members. And we got to take a look at this replay. I don't agree. So there's a lot of pressure here onto Shaoye, but still has the Featherstorm. He's able to get out. And while there's damage, I love that XQW gets away from Shanks. Shanks is not in a position to deal enough damage. He's still over this wall. He's trying to find an entrance, find purchase into this fight. And during all of that, Climber's getting resets and opening up the map for his team.
I see the angle Hope is going for there, but man, just to give a free angle to Climber, like XQW, Shaoye, they are problems, but I think the biggest problem right now is Climber, and that's a beautiful setup for Climber, who was so lauded coming into this season. Pick up his rookie split. He's been with this he's been trying to work through the system, and to see him going toe-to-toe with Tarzan in the first series is really nice, but they're obviously playing to his comforts here on the Viego.
Lennon, I want you to call your shot right now. We have not had a 3-0 since the very first day of LPL with Weibo versus OMG. Do you think AL are going to be able to close this one out? Or are we going to game 4? Because
I think we're going to game 4.
I'm feeling an LGD win, boys.
Yeah, I think we're going to game 4, baby. LPL never lets down in the hope for more games. Let's see if that actually becomes the case here. Paranoia is available. Heroic Entrance is available. But they are lacking damage if Hope throws himself to the wolves. I think that's the hardest thing about that last fight is, like, if they have Hope in a front to back, I think they win that one, right? But Hope going for this backline multiple times now in fights and giving his life for it, see if it becomes worth it. He does have the GA now, the real one. So maybe being able to play a little bit more loosely with that.
Interesting. I feel like this is a damage loss, although you're playing Kaisa. She's very flexible in kind of the role she can play in so many different team compositions, so just doesn't want to give the reset, right? Like, just preventing it, even if it's for an additional 2 seconds, that is going to be an important part.
Sheesh. Shaoye takes half his health there from just a couple combo from Shanks. Guess he's starting to get online now.
Luden's Storm Surge, Void Staff, and upgraded Sork Pen boots. Tier 3 boots, you have flat penetration, percent penetration as well coming in. Even with the hotfix nerf, this is one of the strongest boots that you can get. And I think it needs to be, especially because mages for such a long time have had really, really, really terrible itemization compared to their AD carry counterparts. So, not sad to see it. It's just, as an AD carry player, I'm already afraid of LeBlanc, and this champion just gets even scarier and scarier with the new items. LGD, though, are starting to kind of put vision around this Baron. They want to put the finishing touches on this game. And AL looking for any last bit of kind of team fight resourcefulness. Maybe an engage coming in from Kael here.
Not only has Kael not had the strongest of games, but maybe all it takes is one. Okay, they got the wraparound from YCX. Heroic entrance coming in. They are in a choke point on an equalizer. They have to get out of that fight. LGD will pull multiple summoner spells and multiple ultimates as they do end up pressuring around the Baron.
Still, no Leona ult, no Ahri ult, no Rumble equalizer. I think this is as good of a fight as it's going to get here for anyone's Legend. If they can't win this, we're looking at going to a Game 4 here between LGD and AL.
Climber hasn't been able to win a smite fight against Tarzan yet. Tarzan going in, now with the paranoia, going for the damage, going down low, but gets one kill before he does. Look at Climber, he's looking for resets. Climber just wants it so bad, but he can't get it. Hope shuts him down. Hope doesn't give his life, and what did I say? That's all you needed to win these fights. Hope, the man, the myth, the legend, to step up for anyone's Legend.
It's hope that kills here for LGD as AL are going to push down on the top wave. They shouldn't be able to end this game, but a magnificent team fight finally in Nocturnal that actually connects with the rest of his team. They're able to find that pick onto Sasa. They're going to move over potentially to the Baron here. I mean, Kai'Sa with 3 items plus the Gunmetal Greaves, you might as well go for it.
I'm just going to say you asked me to call my shot earlier. Well, I had called my shot way earlier when I said hope. I had a feeling. I just had an inkling that hope was going to be the difference maker in this game, and he absolutely is. Not diving too far, not going overboard, and finding the pick on a Climber right before he got the resets.
Sasa at half HP, and it is all hands on deck to try to get this first kill onto XQW. And LGD, man, I feel so bad for them in this situation because it is the difference of like 100 HP. Viego finds that kill onto Nocturne early, he gets the reset, and maybe this is an entirely different situation. But a magnificent team fight coming in, and we're making a play again onto Shaoye. Hope.
They took the turret, they took the kill, they're taking everything, Alk.
Oh my god, the game collapses. Don't tell me this is how LGD loses. You spent the first 25 minutes of game 1 winning versus AL just to lose it with 2 team fights. You got swept in 23 minutes in game 2. Game 3, you made 30 minutes of AL sweat happen just for you to lose 2 team fights. Back to back. The pip replay in the bottom right of your screen just shows Shaoye gets completely exploded before he can use the Feather Storm. And the gold lead has exploded yet again. 6,000 here for anyone's Legend.
This is just the story of this series. You can have all the bluster. You can have all the confidence showings, all the boisterous noise. But in the end, if you're not experienced enough to handle those stressful situations, you will be taken advantage of. And AL have struck when the iron is hot, as has been such the case in this series so far.
LGD.
But again, we make this a big deal. Like a lot of people will say, "Oh, it's just one series, guys. It's just it's just LGD's first series of the year. It's just AL's first series of the year." We are in single round robin, best of 5 elimination style here. You have to win these matchups if you want to put yourself in the best position. And even with a rookie roster, you want more games. You don't just want 3 best of 5s and say, "See you in spring."
It's such a tough format, especially when we talk about the later splits. But yeah, like you were saying, the fact that your winter split is just completely gone if you are not able to get 2 wins in your group means that for all the teams that are on the outside of the bubble, especially for teams like LGD and WE, losses to AL are the ones that we are predicting, but it's the ones you have to make count. And every win matters. Yes, it won't be able to bring you over a series line, but if you're able to go 3-1, 3-2, those are confidence builders. Tarzan's going in.
Yeah, he is, and he's got the follow-through with the damage behind him, although big double knockup. Look at XQW. He's got an angle. He's got resets, and so does Climber. Choo-choo! Take us to Reset City, please. LGD on the name tag as Tarzan getting taken down slowly but surely. We'll have the speed up from the shadows there, and LGD give us a little bit of a fighting effort.
Tarzan just goes way too deep. Yet again, your jungle goat is jeopardizing this game 3 here for AL. It has been back-to-back Nocturnals that have looked a little bit suspect, but they were able to get the pick first time onto Shaoye. This time, however, it gets multiple summoner spells out from their team and a few kills to boot here for LGD. They're going to stick it together in this game, but Lennon, we're now in a position where 2.5 minutes from a Baron, there's a potential Cloud Drake Soul on the table here for LGD.
We lost the timer, but you know, it's got to be coming up at some point.
I will just say the clean feed has been a bit bugged on the timers once we get to like 3rd and 4th Drake, so it's just
been a lot of things in the game, you know?
Yeah,
just
there's
a lot
Otacon,
of objectives.
There's Grubs, there's Feats of Strength.
Roses.
True. All the blood petals and blood roses. Exactly. There is a lot going on, but we're hitting those Eider spikes. Is it?
I guess it.
I don't know.
No, maybe not.
We
Like a
can
mobile
workshop
game.
that one.
It's a mobile game where they give you all the stuff for free.
We have a mobile game. It's called Wild Rift. Check it out.
Oh.
But yeah. But Tarzan currently on the bottom side of the map. He's going to take his recall. Tried to get a 4th item here. I like that he's gone for the upgraded boots. Does give him a magic shield, but oh my god. This is such a close game. 40 minutes. It's such a heartbreaker. Again, we don't expect for LGD to win this series from the outset, but they have shown 3 really incredible games coming up against AL.
Yeah.
And to only go down in a 3-0, I think would be belittling to the amount of effort that they have put forward in this game.
This is also just showing what a little bit of comfort, but also a good game plan can get you. And I think that's super important when you're playing with a bunch of rookies to have that nailed down. The fact that the reset comp works at every stage of the game doesn't matter how far ahead AL were. I mean, they are 5,000 plus ahead, but if the right person goes down, if the timing is right, it can be LGD's game.
It's a GA here for Climber, so level 18 in the jungle. He has to make it work. This is the carry jungle that we were looking from the LDL, one of the most hyped prospects from the developmental league, and it has to be here in this game.
YCX, I don't know if you wanted that one. Equalizer's going to be popped. Shanks goes in on the side. Paranoia is going to be there. Kael getting saved by the heroic entrance. Look at AL. They are so scared to take this fight. Sasa. Oh, he tries to get the flash play. Does he get the charm? LGD, they want it so bad, Alk, but they can't get it. Hope's going to look to push down mid lane.
Does Hope look for it, though? Has the killer instinct. Landed a little bit of those plasma onto Shaoye. Shaoye is also going to lifesteal back, get all of that HP ready to go for a Baron on the table here. Teleports coming in from Flandre. There's no heroic entrance. Shanks is going to look for an entrance after his teleport comes through.
This is so dicey from LGD. I mean, this is literally the game here if you lose this, and the Baron is doing so much work. TP on the backline from Shanks as well. LGD will pull out and signal the white flag of retreat.
Dragon spawning in a minute. Soul potential here for LGD. For AL, it'll just be another dragon. And even with the vision, we're getting teleports back in. They are not willing to give this Baron up for free.
I mean, they burn it so fast with Hope. Hope literally disintegrates this Baron. It's getting lower and lower. Climber can't even get in the pit. The Paranoia blocking their vision. Can the light from the sky do it? It's Flandre that takes it, and then it's a massive engage. AL, it feels like a rinse and repeat of that last game. One fight around the Baron pit, and maybe that's all you need. 4 members still alive, and of course it's Climber and XQW, the only ones left.
They're looking for a mid-wave here. Can LGD hold? I mean, it's Baron minions as well.
No.
Great cancel coming in from Tarzan, and that might just be it. This will be the final fight. Amazing cancels coming in from Tarzan.
My jungle goat AlkBattery. My jungle goat. They are pushing down mid lane. LGD, no matter how hard they fought, no matter how much hair and scratches they left on AL, it will not matter. AL will push to a 3-0 sweep in their first series of 2025.
It's exactly what we expected, but I think the story of how we got here wasn't exactly what we predicted coming into the night.
Paper isn't going to tell you anything about this series. I will just tell you that right now.
Everybody, if you're just going on Twitter, if you're going to Leaguepedia and you just check 3-0 expected, but you're not going to know that in The first game, 25 minutes, AL are getting pushed. In game 3, we go to 45 minutes up against AL, and it is a single team fight that the entire series comes down to. So, sucks for LGD. My hearts go out to them, especially for a group of rookies. We hope that this is going to be a confidence-building series despite the loss, being able to take such a top team through the distance. But, yeah, I'm really excited for this AL team, man. They're able to fight back in such great ways.
That's what's so cool. Like, not only like, it feels bad because like it was a little bit one-sided in the series. We tried to tell a little bit of the stories for LGD. They had some good ones, but there's just so much story making and story backing between this AL team. Not only Tabe, but the kind of mix and match of the players, the reinforcements, kind of the way that they are trying to attack draft in a lot of ways. And it's felt like this team is fun to watch because you don't like. Maybe a little finicky on the Rift, but the drafts, the way that they approach the games is so cool. And I think that makes them a team to must follow in 2025.
For sure. I mean, even if you're just going for, I want to follow the most winningest teams for 2025, well, Demacia Cup is of any consequence. Well, AL are showing up already with a conference win. So great job to get a 3-0. I will say, again, a little bit shaky, but they again showed why they're in this position, why they were able to win the last 2 games prior, is ingenuity, getting really good map setups, and great team fighting. That last game, although, was a little bit of a departure from those strengths, and that's why I think it went for so long.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they were thinking back to that flash taunt from Flandre, thinking back to some of those ultimates from Tarzan, they're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall. Unfortunately, I don't think on the opening of his 10-year anniversary, Flandre is going to be getting triple MVP for this one. It looks like Shanks was definitely winning it towards the end there, but all in all, a great showing from Anyone's Legend. We'll be going through the highlights here soon, I'm sure, after going through some of the stats and things. That's where I want to turn a little bit of the attention to LGD. I think there's a lot of potential. You talked about it a lot. We talked about it a lot throughout the series. We got to see some of those sparks that I expected and wanted to see from this team. I knew they weren't necessarily going to get wins, but the fact they got so close in that last game as well, that just shows a lot of the potential and what LGD saw when they wanted to draft 4 rookies onto their starting LPL roster.
Even if they bomb out of this group, they lose out on the winter split, they go to spring, there is a lot that is playable. The format is a lot different in spring. They're going to have 2 groups of 8, so if you remember last year's group Nirvana and Ascend, that's going to be something that's going to be coming back for the second split of the LPL, and that opens up so much more. You're playing against teams that are generally around your skill level at that point, and then you can kind of say maybe LGD look to be top 4, top 2 in that group. We'll have to see how it shakes out and what teams we're sending to that side of the group.
Climber looks good.
Yeah, I want LGD to succeed, not only because we made a silly graphic about it, but just the story of having 2 LDL champions from the last year kind of as a reward for their hard work and effort from the last year. Multiple pieces from different rosters that also did very well in development, pieces from different rosters. I think this is just a feel-good story and not just random smattering of rookies and maybe some veterans that don't have a lot of synergy innately.
Yeah, and a lot of grain of salt with kind of following this team and the bumps and bruises that are going to be there along the way, but that's what develops fandom, and these are the kinds of teams that you want to start backing early, because 2-3 years from now, these are going to be the names that you see running rampant around the league, and especially the ones like Climber, who was going toe-to-toe with Tarzan a lot of the series tonight, which is really nice to see for a jungler who controls so much of the map and usually dictates a lot of what the jungle matchup looks like. It was really nice to see somebody kind of push his buttons a little bit.
It's okay. They've been doing it on the international stage for a couple games now, too, so it's okay.
No big deal, I guess.
Tarzan is not getting away from those allegations, man. The international community has some gripes with this dude for his worlds, okay? So I'm going to need to see another Tarzan trophy lift. I'm going to have to, maybe not him slipping on the floor like we saw.
True.
But he needs some silverware, man. Like, this guy has been your jungle. He's your jungle GOAT now. He's been a top-level jungler in the LPL, but hasn't been able to pick up a trophy. And maybe this is the roster to do it.
Dude, out of all the rosters, imagine. Like, if this is the most I'm going to do it myself roster Tarzan has ever been on. Just gets a championship is wild. I got to give a massive shout out. I think Shanks is probably going to win the MVP, but Hope literally won in that game in a lot of ways. But I think he learned not to just go straight for Shaoye or XQW because it wasn't worth giving his life. His sustained damage onto the Viego and onto these frontliners was much more worth it. And after he learned that and kind of adapted mid-game, we saw much different fights from AO.
Shanks just played 3 games in a row that were really, really great. I don't know what else to say. He played the Akali game, you know, barring some laning mistakes, he got there in the end and actually really, really executed on his job of just bursting out the enemy AD carry in the second game. This is a great escape coming out, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it changes all that much. I really do think that Shanks obviously deserves it for this game, but probably also earned it for... I'm still mad about Game 1 going over to Flandre.
Nah, man, I don't know. Flandre deserves those two. Yeah, I think it's just really nice to see, again, it was kind of a theme that I brought into this one after that game #1, but it's not just Tarzan. Even though I'm memeing about it, he's going to do it single-handedly. It's literally the holistic feeling of this team that just feels cohesive. And maybe that has a lot to do with Tabe behind the scenes. Maybe it's just a vibes check, but it feels really good.
Do you think that this AL team, because I'm starting to get this feeling, this is like the Misfits toys, the Misfits toys. You have Flandre who's coming in. He has obviously a bad year on JDG. Tarzan has been, like I said, maligned by some international performances and not being able to bring home a finals after I think he was in spots to win those finals. Shanks, a player who I think hasn't had very many high highs. Hope as well. The top 4 at Worlds and then disappearing basically from the international stage. Kael as a Korean import coming in from Gen G Challengers and Sandbox. I think this is a very real narrative we can kind of carry for ourselves as we go through the year.
Yeah, and the narrative that they are pretty damn good for a bunch of Misfit toys, I guess.
Yes.
I wonder how the island of Misfit toys feels after having lost 5 of their best pieces.
Man.
I had to come on.
Sometimes you gotta graduate. It's like VTubers. You eventually gotta graduate out of the program.
God, what a movie, by the way. Anyways, I still think that, you know, there's a lot of room to grow for this team, but the fact that there's always a team, it feels like every year, that attacks you straight from draft. And to me, it feels like AL is going to be that team this year. I don't know if that'll actually pan out to be a thing, but in Demacia Cup here in their first series, it just felt like they were putting pressure on from minute 1 getting into draft.
I mean, think about what they did in Demacia Cup, right? The Zac jungle. They had Seraphine, of all things, coming out from the support position for Kael. They are, I think, a very innovative team, not just Flandre, and showing stuff like this. What? It's not for Shanks! What? He got super robbed!
Dude, I will admit that Kael does not deserve that POG. That man
Give it back.
His face off for like 90% of the game. Shanks,
all right.
I'm so sorry, my boy.
If the only reason we stay live is I just want to see the vote breakdown, there is no reason he should have gotten this.
Why is this?
Yeah, give me this replay where he stood there so that he could give Galio ult. All right, I want to see what highlights did they choose for Kael to win this, because. All right, so it's the pick. Wow, the flash, the engage flash out. All right. Is there another one? So we picked one at like 8 minutes into the game, and then we picked another one at like 16. Can we get another one?
On the official broadcast, we could never like say bad things about about the MVP vote.
All right, this one's kind of clean. This one's kind of sexy. I like this one.
Oh my goodness. But
he gets out as well.
It just does like the first 30 minutes of the game. Like, does this make up for that? I don't know. Congratulations, Kael. Maybe he deserves it in the long run.
Yep. I don't know about it in the long run. I'm cool with hating on support players, but all right, let's see. Oh, it was a split vote. 2 people for Shanks, 2 people for Hope. Because those 4 people voted or split the vote, Kael got it. Also, the observers. I'm gonna have to talk. I'm having Kai send over some notes to the observer crews over there.
Oh my goodness, what a series. I'm sad we didn't get more games, but 3 games of a banger, and getting to see LGD's rookie roster and anyone's legend first time in the LPL with this version of their roster. It was a ton of fun. Alk, do you have any general thoughts kind of moving forward for both these teams? Do you think Group A is looking a little AL favored?
Oh yeah, I already knew that coming into the group. I just like, again, Demacia Cup, like Jackie Love got put on a poster. So
he did. He literally did. I would love for somebody to like edit that into a graphic and please send it to me.
Yeah, AL did so well in Demacia Cup. I think part of the reason for their success is the fact that they had to play in group stage. They played their 3 games, they got all of that experience, they got to experience what drafting on the new patch was going to be like, drafting for a full Fearless in quarterfinals versus BLG, then playing up against Weibo. They had, I think, a very good schedule for them to kind of build out their roster, test a few things, and now we're in a situation where they just have a head start. They have, what, 7, 9, they have 13 games over any other team in the tournament right now.
Yeah, it's actually wild. I'm just so happy that LPL is back. I'm just so happy that we get more games. We have more games every day, and that they're best of 5s. We did get our first 3-0 today, which is a little bit sad, but you know, we move on from that. Bigger and better. Speaking of moving on from that, we got one big shout out to give before we send it away. Thank you very much from the bottom of my hearts, from the bottom of everybody's hearts, a part of this project, to our elite Ko-Fi supporter, Aaron Superis. They pledged financial contributions, helps level up the broadcast and give back to the cast and the broadcast, the producers who's tried to give you an LPL English product every single day, because we are on every day. It is an absolute pleasure to be able to provide this for everybody, and thank you, Aaron, so much for giving us all that support. If you want to support us even more, please go donate to that Ko-Fi. It pays for all the production stuff, the graphics, the edits, the content, the interviews that we're going to be having, as well as paying some of the broadcast crew when we get the chance. Thank you all for tuning in for another night of the LPL. It has been an absolute blast, and we'll be back tomorrow for yet another best of 5. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you then.
Sub on Twitch and YouTube, guys.